Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Izzuddin Hafiz bin Azizan. So today I would like to present task distribution and part A, which is facilities for occupational safety and health. This is a detail for a task distribution of our group for the site visit project, which is at 3D Gen Sendram Berhad. Part A, facilities for occupational safety and health. Every worker in the manufacturing and building sector has access to their employer occupational health and safety facilities. So, these are the facilities that this company should consider for their workers: chemical store, toilet, rest area for worker, first aid room, and also firefighting system assembly point. Relevant Act and Regulation. The Act of regulating things is very important to the society. There are three relevant Act and Regulation in the 3D printing industry. The first one is Electricity Act Regulation 1989. Second is Occupational Safety and Health Regulation 20. This is a standard for exposure chemical. Third is Occupational Safety and Health Regulation 2013. This also for the classification, labeling, and safety data for the chemical hazard. So that's why the company must be aware and compliant with the applicable law and regulation. Facilities prevent hazard. When it comes to protecting worker, consumer, environment, facilities, uh, they are play a crucial part in doing so. First one is elimination, substitution, engineering control, and also administrative control. It's important to remember that when implementing control, it's the best to start with the most basic one, such as eliminating risks from occurring in the first place. The selection and implementation of the control measure depend on the specific risk and hazard present in each situation. Personal protection equipment (PPE) and other safety devices are necessary for preventing injury to those who are working in the 3D printing industry. In our site visit, the instructor of this company explained and showed us the PPE that they always use as a daily routine when they are working. It's very important to figure out what risks and danger relate to the 3D printing in working environment and then get the right safety equipment and also PPE. First one is ice goggle, face shield, safety shoes, respirator, and also glove. To ensure smooth operation, minimize downtime, and advertise collaboration, a 3D printing company need to implement a maintenance program and utilize effective communication tools. There are four maintenance program and communication tools available. The first one is plan preventing maintenance. Second is employee recognition center. Third is training and documentation. The last is employees experience tool. That's all for me and thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Hazir Aiman. I'm going to present about type of hazard that may occur and how to avoid them. First hazard is chemical hazard. Presence of hazardous materials in 3D printing materials such as resin or filaments. This material can emit volatile organic compound, particulates, or toxic fumes during the printing process. To address the hazard, it is important to choose materials with low VOC emissions or consider alternative materials with safer properties. Another chemical hazard is the risk of chemical spills and exposure. Accidental spill of chemicals or contact with hazardous substances can pose risk to workers. To mitigate this hazard, it is important to provide appropriate personal protective equipment (PPE), such as gloves, safety goggles, and lab coats to protect against chemical exposure. Next is chemical cleaning agent. Used in the 3D printing process, this agent may contain hazardous chemicals that require careful handling. To mitigate risk, it is advisable to use less toxic or eco-friendly cleaning agent whenever possible. The next hazard is electrical hazard. One common electrical hazard is faulty electrical equipment. Malfunctioning or defective printer, power supplies, or cable can pose serious risk. To address this, regular inspections and maintenance of all electrical equipment should be conducted. Overload circuit are another electrical hazard to consider. Connecting too many devices to a single power source can lead to overheating and potential electrical fires. Preventing circuit overloads involves calculating the power requirements. Next is exposed wiring and cables can also contribute to electrical hazard. Exposed or improperly insulated wiring not only increase the risk of electrical shocks but also pose a tripping hazard. Safeguarding against this risk is involves securing and protecting all wiring and cables, keeping them away from heavy machinery or foot traffic. One significant physical hazard is the risk of moving machinery parts. 3D printing often involves moving components such as print head, build plates, and conveyor. Workers can be exposed to hazards such as crushing or getting caught in moving parts. To mitigate this risk, it is important to establish and enforce safety procedures, including proper training on equipment operation and safe work practice. Another physical hazard is related to the use of hand and power tools. Workers may use various tools for tasks such as post-processing, finishing, or maintaining. To minimize this risk, workers should receive a product training on tool usage. Noise and vibration are also physical hazards in 3D printing workshops. This operation of machinery and equipment can generate high level of noise, which can lead to hearing damage over time. Vibration from certain tools or machinery can also cause discomfort and potential long-term health issues. To address this, it is important to implement engineering control, such as using soundproofing material or vibration damping mounts. Ergonomic hazards are important to consider in 3D printing workshop. Workers often engage in repetitive tasks and prolonged periods of standing or sitting. One prevalent ergonomic hazard is poor workstation design. Workstation should be ergonomically designed to promote proper posture on the body and reduce strain on the body. Repetitive motion in 3D printing workshops, such as removing support or post-processing tasks, can lead to strain and discomfort, but implementing job rotation or task variation can reduce the risk of repetitive strain injuries. Next is lifting and handling a heavy object in 3D printing workshop can strain the body, but proper lifting techniques such as using leg muscle and bending the knee can help prevent back injuries. The last hazard may occur is high workload and time pressure. In 3D printing, project can result in excessive stress, but establishing realistic timelines, allocating sufficient resources, and promoting open communication can help mitigate this hazard. Next is lack of control and autonomy in work processes can lead to psychological hazard. But involving employees in decision making, providing opportunity for feedback, and delegating responsibility can empower workers and enhance their sense of control.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Haikal and I would like to talk about the accident might occur at 3D Gens factory and what is the emergency procedure for each accident. First, situation 1. Mechanical accident might be happening when the moving parts and mechanism of 3D printer not properly guard or someone who come into contact with moving components during maintenance or cleaning process. What is this step to do when this happens? First, secure the area to prevent further risk or injuries. Next, check any injuries and offer first help to those in need. Then, if necessary, evacuate the entire facility following established evacuation procedures. Next, inform appropriate management or safety official about the occurrence as soon as possible. Lastly, complete incident report forms of documentation as required by organizations. Situation 2 is exposed to harmful chemical. Certain 3D printing process utilize chemicals such as resins, solvent, or other substance that can be hazardous if not handled properly. So the procedure is ensure the safety of the affected person and those nearby. Assess the degree of the exposed as well as the affected individual's initial symptom. Next, provide first aid to the affected individual if safe to do. So then notify appropriate management of the chemical exposure occupation. After that, the necessary precaution to limit the exposure and prevent the spread of the hazard and chemical, and seek medical evaluation and conduct an investigation. 3D printers rely on electrical power for operation, so making them susceptible to electrical accidents such as electric shocks. When this accident happens, do not attempt to rescue someone if there is still a risk of electric shock. So ensure that the power source is shut off or de-energized before approaching the injured individual or affected area. Contact medical help or emergency service right now, right once. Isolate the power source by turning off the power to the affected area or equipment if it's safe to do so. You can provide required help to the injured individual if you are trained and it's safe to do. Notify appropriate management of safety officer of the electrical accident. Next is the preserve the scene and do incident reporting and investigation. 3D printers also involve the use of heat element, electrical components, and potentially flammable materials, which can increase the risk of fire. Emergency procedure for this accident is active the fire alarm system immediately and instruct of staff to do authorized evacuation routes to evacuate the impact area or the facility. They need to report the fire to emergency service or the local fire department. Employees should be instructed to turn off any equipment or machinery that is directly affected by the fire or thermal threat. If the fire minor and controlled, train people to use proper extinguishing equipment. And establish a specific established site where evacuate personnel can securely congregate. After that, complete incident report forms or other documents as required by the organisation to document the fire occurrence. Last but not least, I found ice injury might be occur when the use of laser or the high energy source in certain types of 3D printing process. Before assisting the injured person, put on personal protective equipment PPE such as gloves and safety glass. Next, if you are foreign items or chemical in your eyes, gently flush it with clean water. If the eye damage is serious, apply a clean dressing to the injured eye while avoiding direct pressure on the eye. Next, seek for medical attention and fill out incident report forms or other paperwork as directed by the organisation. Besides, provide assistance and support to the injured person during their healing process. This is some example of paperwork if any accident that I mentioned before happens. We have employees report of injuries, supervisors, accident investigation, and medical incident reports. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Munsif bin Muhammad Noh. I will be presenting about design the OSHA management system. Diligence Malaysia is a technology company as emerged as the first company in Malaysia to produce patient-specific implants via 3D metal printing for patients who need bone replacement, earning ISO 9001 and ISO 13485 certifications. Diligence has been in business for 7 years, made its start by penetrating the Malaysian medical industry, specifically in the areas of surgical planning and implants, and customized medical devices. For the OSH element, the firm operates with the highest levels of ethics and transparency since the sustainable notion is essential to its very nature. A visual representation of the OSH procedures used by the firm is shown in figure below. These procedures may be seen in the organization's occupational safety and health management system. For the next subtopic, which is daily and routine enforcement at site, there are two of daily routine, which is daily safety briefing and 5S program. Daily safety briefing is a short chat between a supervisor and their workers that helps the supervisor ensure the employees' health and safety on the job. For 5S program, it is the lean manufacturing tool that is used to improve workplace organization efficiency and safety. For the OSHA document, a thorough safety handbook that specifies procedures for a variety of duties and activities should be part of the company's set of occupational safety and health rules and procedures. The handbook must be looked through and updated on a regular basis to ensure that it represents the most recent standards and best practices in the relevant industry. The handbook must contain subjects like emergency evacuation procedures, first aid response processes, and reporting procedures. Figure below is a qualification of 3D Gen certification of ISO 9001. For the safety awareness and training program, all personnel should get regular safety training to ensure that they are aware of the significance of workplace safety and health, including the appropriate use of PPE, safe work practices, and emergency response protocols. For the awareness and training program, there are two of them, which is 5S training and fire drill. For safety procedure, there are two safety to be concerned, which is safety flowchart and safety committee. Safety flowchart is a flowchart that should be developed to show the steps that employees should take in the event of an emergency or accident, including emergency evacuation procedures, first aid response, and reporting protocols. Below are the safety concern flowchart. For safety committee, it is to examine the facilities of policies and procedures and to identify and solve any emerging safety hazards. A safety committee comprised of staff and management should be created. For the last subtopic, which is warning and emergency system, the facility should have an emergency notification system in place, such as a fire alarm or public address system, to alert employees to potential hazards and to provide instructions for evacuation or other emergency procedures. The system should be tested regularly to ensure that it is working in order. There are four of warning and emergency system that should be installed for organization. First is emergency stop button. It is a device to allow operators to swiftly stop the machinery by drawing a rope or pushing a button in order to reduce the danger of injury and property loss. For machine safety, it is a real-world example of a machine where safety device is mechanical equipment. The danger might arise during the system operation or procedure while the mechanical equipment is being used. For the light indicators are multicolored LED indicator that enable high visibility, real-time display of equipment and show the safety condition of a machine or device. They feature a lightweight, low-profile design that allows them to be used in situations where the other signal solutions may conflict or interfere with machine action. For warning and emergency sign, the language and pictures on all caution and emergency signs should be simple to read and easily visible. To make sure they remain in excellent shape and continue to offer efficient communication, they should be frequently inspected and maintained. That's all from us. Thank you.